Well, salam alaikum, everyone. I came dressed, I hope appropriately. So happy to see so many familiar faces. My friend's Syed family, Asif Syed and his beautiful daughter, and he has 5 more of them, equally beautiful. And they were responsible for this beautiful suit. So I wanted to say public thank you. And not only are we honoring our friend Hassan Zia in his family home, it is his birthday last week, and so we're here to celebrate. It is also, yes, also our dear friend and colleague from Mississauga, Shahzad Haq. And only reason he's not here with us because he is at home celebrating with his family, but we honor him tonight in our thinking of him, and we're going to put him to work. That's what we need. So I see so many familiar faces. I'm going to highlight a few of you because there are people from every community here. Not just Pakistani Muslim community, Lebanese, if you're from the Lebanese community, Turkish here. We have leaders, Nigerian, obviously the South Asian, so many leaders. And as well, we have elected people. With us is Natalie Hart, who is here from beautiful Ward 5, which once upon a time, it brought me to municipal council as well. And I'm so proud of her and the work that she is doing. And I guess we're the 2 blondes in the room tonight. That's fun. And we will see each other on Saturday. I hope you will all come. We have the Peel Region Barbecue on Saturday, and we want everyone there to show force, to show our strength of our community. I do want to also introduce some of the folks who ran for us in the last campaign. Is this working? Okay. So those of you who ran last February with us, Tarek Khan from London is here. Tarek, right here. And they brought a delegation from London, and we thank you very much. Rashid Akhtar, I think, is from Sudbury. Where's Rashid? Right here. And Rashid is running for executive council, am I correct? Regional vice president at the AGM. So you will have an opportunity to vote for me on Friday evening and on Saturday morning. But on Saturday afternoon, the vote switches for the executive council. All right, so we will, of course, support our friends. Also, Khazardar from Erin Mills, who's so narrowly lost, my goodness. Now, Samira isn't with us, but Samira Malik obviously ran as well from Mississauga Centre. Mazhar is here with us. There he is, famous, of course. Also very close margin, my goodness. Ibrahim Daniel from Pickering is with us. Here he is. And also from the Muslim community, but not here tonight, Liban Hassan from Humber River. And we thank him for all that he did as well. Now, there's one person who we discussed running, and the timing didn't work out, but ran for us previously, and we hope he'll be a candidate again in the future, Safdar Hussain, who very much wants to run. And of course, the other person who ran federally, not with us, but good friend Mubarak Ahmed, right, who is part of the Ahmadiyya community, and we have representatives from the Ahmadiyya community here as well. We also have representatives coming from NCCM. Are they here yet? No, but they will. And it's very important we hear their voice and thank them for the advocacy that they do on behalf of all of you and for the entire community. We have seen the course of the past years, the rise in Islamophobia, right? And this is very important that we raise our voices and we stand together. When I was mayor of Mississauga, those of you who lived in Mississauga, I know many of you, Brampton and beyond, that you will all remember, I always said that we should have no tolerance for any intolerance. And we must stand with each other when we hear this, and we must call it out and we must name it for what it is. So that is a lot of work that we did in Mississauga. And we had that work done with York University that proves definitely the rise in Islamophobia by over 1,000%. Now this is not acceptable. Hate has no place in our communities, in our cities, and you must feel safe and secure to pray in your place of worship in the mosques and the masjids. Now, we're also very proud of our new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, and he has taken a definite stand on something that I know the community has been waiting a long time for. Of course, we don't do the foreign affairs work, they do federally, and we are so very proud that he's come out very strongly fighting for not only the needed humanitarian aid, which we are supporting as Canadians. We've done a drop into Gaza, as you well know. And of course, our Prime Minister has made the incredible move to recognize the state of Palestine, right? It shows a lot of courage, and he is in line with many European countries and other countries that are doing the same. And so we congratulate, and of course, this is not an issue that, we speak out, advocate on. We are more healthcare, education, etc. But of course, we're proud that he has done so as well. So many of you know me for many years, and I don't need to talk about my background, but those of you who have will tell you I've always been an ally and a friend. I think we started our journey, Asif was here, Syed, with the Meadowvale Mosque. I think that's how it started. And I remember my early days as Member of Parliament, when I was campaigning to be a Member of Parliament. I went to Meadowvale first because it was where Wajid Khan used to pray. And I wanted to test the support. And I went there thinking people would say, "What are you doing here?" But instead they said, "Next time bring a sign." I take a sign. And so I showed great support. And of course, they came to me and said, "We want to build a mosque. We have the land and it's zoned religious. And for whatever reason, the council doesn't support it." And I said, "Well, this will change. This will change. You have my word. When I become mayor, we will change and we will be very supportive." Can you imagine a mosque being built on land that is zoned for religious purposes? And what were the excuses? Not enough parking, too much traffic. I will argue that they say that about everything. It slows down progress, even if it's a new condominium development or whatever new camp housing development, they say that. So we stood firm and we stood up against opponents in the community, particularly this racist man who we remember who is in jail somewhere today. And he was putting out false information about the community. And we stood up to him and we prevailed. And that has the start of our long friendship. And we've done so much in Mississauga, but we need to continue to do that work right across the province, recognizing us on prayer, allowing parking allowances on Fridays at 1 o'clock to allow you the time to park and pray. Welcome. Well, there's Mubarak. We just introduced you in absentia. There he is, Mubarak Ahmed, our friend. We have other representatives from the Ahmadiyya community here with us too. So we're very grateful. So tonight we're coming to celebrate, but we're coming together for a reason that is important to all of us. And we are all liberals, and that's what has bonded us, the values that we share. And you all supported me when I ran for leader back in December of 2023. And then, we had a lot of momentum for the entire year. We were growing our support. Our support went from 23% when I became leader to 33%. And at the election, thank you, we capped it at about 30. It's fine, it does that. And we were raising money. In 2024 alone, ahead of the election, we raised $6 million. Now, this has never been done under these current rules, because of course before, if you could take corporate donations and union donations, you could raise that kind of money. But under the new rules, no corporate, no union, personal donations only. This is a huge feat. So they saw this trajectory as well. The fact that we are building support, that we are raising money. And I know the advisors to the premier said, "You know what? The election's June 2026, but you're going to have a big problem. Look at them go, these liberals out of nowhere raising this kind of money, and look at the support growing. You better find a reason to go early." So instead of abiding by a fixed date election for June of 2026, they concocted an election, and the President of the United States, formerly our largest ally and trading partner, handed it to them on a silver platter because he threatened a trade war and tariffs. So they use this. They use this to justify an unnecessary and an expensive election. And when you look at it, at the same time, this is when we have the federal leadership as well. Our former prime minister had stepped down, and now we had a leadership race. And many of us, many of you and others took part. And it left us a little bit because it was exciting to work for a new prime minister. And here we are trying to fight an election. There was a leadership vacuum federally because of the leadership race. And what happened? Our premier saw this as an opportunity as well, pretended he was Captain Canada, as though he would sit across from Donald Trump to negotiate tariffs. And we all knew this was false, right? But unfortunately, people saw this. And you have to think that when you're in crisis, and he is promising to protect your jobs, which he hasn't done, and jobs are leaving our province as they were then, it's tough to vote for change. They saw that and they knew that too. And this is what we were fighting in the coldest, shortest month, with a leadership vacuum federally, a concocted election based on trade war and tariffs. And yet, somehow, we carved out a victory. Not the one we wanted. I agree. I would like nothing more than to stand here before you as the new premier. It wasn't to be this time because they stacked it against us. They knew if they waited till June 2026, the outcome would have been much different. But let's look at the good things that happened, and then we'll talk about what wasn't so good, which we're going to correct. 5 new seats, which is great. We had 30% of the popular support. That's pretty incredible. But sadly, the NDP, with 18%, became the opposition. And how that happens, one day somebody will explain to me what this voter efficiency means and why they could carve that out. With 30% of the vote, we did not. We came a very strong second in 77 ridings. Let's hear it for our hero over here who lost by 24 votes. 24 votes. Right? Imagine 13 people voted differently, the outcome. Right? Burlington. We've only won Burlington once. Once. Eleanor McMahon. Our candidate in Burlington lost by 39 votes. 39. And I don't know if you know this, but there is a political party called None of the Above. You've seen this? Black signs. Yes? They ran a candidate named David Crombie in Burlington, and he got 500 votes. What do you think? Maybe people thought they were voting for me, and 39 votes, she was robbed of a seat. Can you imagine? We have Liban did so well, Dan DiGiorgio and Vince Gasparo, who's an MP today. They lost by 150, 140 votes. Even Mazar, our friend, you were so close, like 500-ish. So close in so many places. We raised our support in 102 of the 124 ridings. Can you imagine? And today, remember I said last year we raised more money than ever before under the new rules, 6 million. This year alone, 5 million. 5 million. So even with a defeat, we didn't win. Money is still coming in. People still have confidence in us. Now, what could we have done differently? Is this interesting? I can keep going. Okay, good. Otherwise, I know there's going to be dinner. You can tell me when you're hungry and I'll. Nominations. They were too slow. Way too slow. People couldn't get out of the ground. We were timing them for June 26, right? And we had only one nominations commissioner. They were thoroughly vetting everyone. And then suddenly a snap call. And we had 14 people we needed to nominate on the last day. With some success. A few people are problematic. What happens when you don't have the proper vetting? Not candidate nominations will be opened in January. This is the change we're making. This is the change we're committed to. Because people need time on the ground. They want to be the candidate of record. They want to start attending events. And they want to knock on doors so they get to build their profile. Now, that won't happen with everyone. But because there's always going to be high-profile people that come in at the end, and there will be a couple reserved for a few people, but people who want, like Safdar is interested, I hope Dar is interested, many of the people, Tarek I mentioned, these are people who work hard in their ridings. They deserve a nomination so they can get to work. And that's what we're committed to. The platform, again, on target for June of 26. We chose healthcare, housing, and education. And why did we do that when there's because we weren't speaking credibly on those issues. He pretended he was Captain Canada and went to Washington, went on CNN, went on Fox News. Do you know? Every time he went on those stations, we paid for those. As taxpayers, paid for those. Should we have pivoted our messaging from our message affordability and housing onto what people were worried about at the time, their job economy and protecting those jobs. So that was another, as I mentioned, didn't contain all piece came out so late, right? We had unions and we had many school education was late. The rural in the northern area wanted something concrete for them, like planning, business management. These are things that matter. We said, well, they're equally or more by healthcare crisis, hallway medicine, the lack of family doctors, emergency room closures in the rural and northern area. It wasn't enough. So that has to be addressed as not having candidates out the door. I've committed, we're going to do that earlier. Nations Commissioner to get that done. Our platform will be fulsome. Why in a moment as well. And issues we hear across the province. Now, what are the changes? Not only the early nominations, but because we're liberal and discuss policy, it's going to happen before, although I keep promising 2026 and Catherine says Bonnie. They have 5 people, five. We can't do a little. I said, this one's important. Last, we had great speakers. Did any of you come to London? Right? In London, we had that Thinkers Conference. It was well done for Keysmat, many of the union leaders. It was members want, because you guys want to debate and right? So that we have to facilitate. And then for anyone who went to the door, I think you realize that the data was flawed, correct? And this is something we have to look at as well. We had problems. Had fewer problems with their data, and it's the same company. Digital, on the digital side, this is how people are advertising. More money has to go into a digital. This is something else we are changing. So those are the kinds of changes we. Now, the last thing is the a lot of them. We only have 14 seats. Because of the success of being official, we have Liberal Caucus Services Bureau. It and a support. We have research. We have issues. And importantly, we have an outreach desk. We are targeting the unheld ridings and giving them the support that they haven't received. We're going to help them, the memberships, getting them vibrant again. For 4 or 5 ridings that they're speaking to the membership. They're helping them rebuild, because the only way we're going to win. If we don't rebuild and we don't, somebody's joined us, and that we don't from those small towns and rural areas. We have to. We used to even to own London, Tarek. We used to own Windsor. We don't have a presence there anymore, and that's wrong. And we need Tarek and your London contingent. We to rebuild there in a bigger presence. Windsor. I'm in Sudbury. We're together. And Thunder Bay after that. We have to rebuild. The following week, I'll have to work to win back, build back the PL. So this is the job ahead. Now we have time. We have all of you. So the only thing, the revitalization efforts and the progress we were going, the only thing stopping us is September. We have a leadership review, and if we want describing, you have to vote no. You have to vote. The reason is there will be a ballot question put to you that will say a new leadership contest. You will, must say no. Think about it. It will stop the reforms we've been making. The money will go into leadership campaign instead of into the pay down our debt and longer to put money in the party. Proceed without me. So you will have that. Truly hope that I can continue to count on you. Be with me voting no for the AGM. Thank you. Thank you.